Chad, we start, though, with fairness, and Nick Saban is trying to discuss fairness for Alabama, the football program, and SEC scheduling.
So Nick Saban is upset that it appears his 3 regular every year opponents in this 6-3 model of the SEC will be, some tough teams involved in it. Here's what I have to say to Nick Saban. Boo-hoo to Nick Saban. Are you kidding me? There is not a single person who wants to hear about fairness from Nick Saban on anything. The guy has won multiple national championships. He regularly has the number 1 or number 2 recruiting class in America. Alabama has inherent advantages when he arrived as a historically great all-time program. And now he's going to talk about, well, this isn't fair because we have to play these 3 teams. Boo-hoo. The last person that needs to talk about fairness is Nick Saban. And Nick Saban has built Alabama into what it is. I'm not taking anything away from what Nick Saban has done. Nick Saban is a voice of college football, just like Coach K was of college basketball and other greats as they age in their spot and in their career. I get all of that. If Nick Saban wants to talk about things that aren't good for the sport or are good for the sport, people will listen to Nick Saban when he has thoughts on it, and for good reason, because he's probably the greatest coach that's ever coached college football. But when Nick Saban wants to stand up and say, guys, this isn't fair. We have to play these 3 teams every year, and other teams are going to play easier programs every year. Give me a break.
Well, it's the same schedule, though. It's the same schedule they're currently playing anyway. He's mentioning Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU as the 3 teams in the 3-6 model that's been proposed for the 9-game SEC schedule, which he's been on in favor of more conference games. He's adding one more conference game, Alabama just specifically, and you're keeping the same teams you're playing every year anyway. Now, his one gripe, and I don't disagree with it, is he says that they're only taking a 10-year snapshot for the equity of the scheduling. Well, if you go back on the 10-year snapshot of Tennessee, it doesn't look all that great.
Yeah.
But historically, they have been. And if you look at the 10-year snapshot of, South Carolina, Arkansas, it's inflated based on where they were to where they are now. And he's saying, like, hey, right now we've got 2 teams that are in the top 10 and another one that's about to regain the top 10 status. He's pointing to Auburn on that. And he's right. But he's also already playing that schedule. And based on the proposal, Chad, if I'm wrong, tell me, every other year you'll play
every
an opponent
team
in the SEC.
Yeah.
So every 2 years, you're going to play everyone else in the conference anyway. So I don't understand the gripe if it's the same teams you're already playing and you're already drubbing for the most part based on the dominance that you've shown.
Well, what happens when you win in the NFL? You slot next year to play teams that are equal to you on that line.
That's right.
If you finish first in the division, you're going to play other division winners from the previous year. That's a way to try to balance things out, the way the NFL does, and they do so well. I'm not proposing that in college football. There should be every year rivals, but the only way to make it truly equitable is to have no annual rivalry game and to just completely cycle through everyone every single year or as many different teams as you can, and no one has to play someone every year. Do you think Tennessee, from a competitive standpoint, wants to play Tennessee or Alabama and Georgia every year? That's probably going to be the case. At least one of them will be, according to Nick Saban.
Right.
They'll be playing Alabama. I'm sure, Tennessee, who's won once in the last 16 years against Alabama, is thinking, why is Nick Saban talking about having to play us every year?
Literally anyone else.
We got to play Alabama every year. Anyone who plays Bama is sitting there looking at it thinking, we got to play Nick Saban and Alabama every year. But you hit on it, Hutton. That's already been happening.
In an 8-game model.
So what's the point here? I mean, it's I've gone through my model, the 3 rivalry games that I would have for every team, and we can look at it and dissect it. There's no way to make it fair and equitable for everyone. And I even tried to come up with a model that doesn't take into account just the last 10 years, but historically for these programs where you get matched up with some like programs that maybe have either won at a high clip historically or haven't won at a high clip. You try to pair those teams up, but even when you do that, it's not going to be fair. So,
well, and from the fan perspective, the fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. Texas A&M, we're talking to Billy Lucci. They hate Texas, but Billy's saying we can't wait. The Aggies can't wait to play Texas again whenever we get that rivalry rekindled. And it should be that way in college football. So the Tennessee-Auburn matchups for Alabama is a no-brainer. And then LSU, I mean, again, like, that makes sense too.
Yeah, I believe my plan had Auburn, Tennessee, and Texas.
Yeah, you had either Texas or Oklahoma.
Yep. Yeah, it was Alabama's constant opponents, which is tough. But you know what else is tough? Having to play Alabama every year on the other side of that. Let's flip the coin here and show that as well. That's also not easy and not ideal if you're trying to win conference and national championships, having to play Bama every single season like these other teams would have to do.
So the SEC's 10-year metric, we don't specifically know how they're measuring this, but Saban referenced it. Using just the league records from 2013 until last season, the top half of the league in winning percentage, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, Texas, Auburn, and Texas A&M. The bottom half is Missouri, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. And
yeah, the only one that's out of place there is Tennessee.
Right.
I mean, if you just looked at history, it's a top 10 nationally winning program historically. So we're right on the edge of it now. So, yeah, I mean, I understand what he's saying there. But, again, part of the reason Tennessee's SEC win percentage is what it is that they've lost to Alabama every year until this past year since Nick Saban has been there. So that helps add to that losing percentage for the Vols.
Chad, it's not an NFL headline because they're on this. The average game in the NFL is 3 hours and 7 minutes, give or take a minute. That's where they want it. College football is trying to reduce the time it takes to have the broadcast for their games every Saturday. The biggest change in the rules is regarding first downs. Currently, the clock stops on first downs until the ball is spotted by officials. The new rule is going to keep the clock running on first downs except during the final 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters. And it's exactly what you see in the NFL. Their college football is following this model. Other things, no consecutive timeouts, untimed penalties. There are going to be rules violations that occur with no time on the clock in the first and third quarters that would carry over to the next quarter and not an untimed down at the end of a quarter. And then replay adjustments. During the games where there isn't a replay official in the booth, on-field officials are going to have the optional replay in which they can use available video after a coach's challenge. So that's what they're doing in an effort to speed up the games. The average college football game is 3 hours and 22 minutes. That is 5 minutes more than where it was in 2017. And to me, the remedy is simple. Shave off this halftime show that takes forever. Way too much time allotted to the marching bands. I get it. It's pageantry. There's the charm that comes with that for college football, but you don't need the entire time. And there's also a rule adjustment in here where the teams cannot begin to warm up for the second half until the field is completely clear. So let's reduce the halftime show by 5 minutes, and there's your remedy to get back down to 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Well,
it should not be this difficult.
I'm not anti-marching band, okay? I love marching bands at college football games, but do you know when fans actually care about the marching bands? Before the game.
Yeah.
Most of the time, any pageantry is leading up to kickoff, and it's the band doing something on the field before that precious allotment of time that you can watch your team play football. That doesn't happen that often every year. It happens over the course of 12 Saturdays in the fall, and once that game is kicked off, that's your time. That's the football team's time. That's your time as a fan. It's not the marching band's time. Marching band time before the game, if they want to do a damn concert 20 minutes before kickoff, 45 minutes before kickoff, have at it. I understand members of the marching band are on scholarship too, right?
Play during halftime. It just doesn't have to be
Don't play
12
at halftime.
minute long.
I would say cut it out at halftime.
No, they can play. They should reduce the
NFL model.
The performance by 5 minutes.
Well,
the NFL can retire a jersey in 12 minutes and get off the field.
Get it down to 12 minutes. I really don't see. I just feel like it's going to be too many problems with what we got to get on the field and ingress and egress with the marching band, and the trombone player has to get down here at this time. Just don't do it at halftime. Just cut it to 12 minutes. Acknowledge whatever you need to acknowledge at halftime, like an NFL game, and get all your pageantry in before the game with the band. Again, I'm not calling for the abolishment of the marching band in college. I'm just saying add time to the start of the game if you need to.
Yeah.
Take those 5-7 minutes.
I mean,
put it 5-7 minutes. Go to 30 minutes before kickoff instead of 20.
You don't dot the I at halftime. You don't run through the power T to begin the third quarter. So I'm with you. And for whatever reason, they don't touch the timing of the 20-minute plus halftime show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to sound callous here, but no one ever went to an SEC game and came out of that game saying, could you believe that tribute to the Star Wars music at halftime with the marching band?
It was so much better than last week.
That was really the highlight of that game. I'm really glad I sat through that 30-minute halftime to watch that John Williams tribute when they played Indiana Jones music at halftime. That really took me back to my childhood. Let's get more of that. Yeah. There's not a single person going to a big-time football game saying, let's get more of that, unless your kid's in the marching band.
I'm with you, man. C.J. Stroud says that the Bears shouldn't take him at number 1 overall because they already have their quarterback in Justin Fields. He's right. And that's also a great nod to Ohio State as well.
Ohio State brethren, yeah.
But any other team that would like to select him, he's all in for. He also said that he's the top QB, no doubt in his mind. And he says he's been the top quarterback in college football the last 2 years. And earlier today in Indianapolis at the Combine, I don't want to go to Chicago. That's his team. I can do my thing. I can build my legacy. He texted me yesterday morning. Me and him are brothers for life. Ryan Poles, the general manager, has said the plan right now is to move forward with Justin Fields. And that's the right plan because they have a chance to go all in around their franchise quarterback with a chance to prove that he's their guy. Just like we've seen with Jalen Hurts and other models across the league where teams spent money on playmakers around them, even Tua. Tua was spending it for the first half of last season with the additions that they made to their offense. They have the ability in Chicago now with $99 million by far, by nearly $30 million. They are ahead of the rest of the league in cap space. This is the year to go bring in dudes around Justin Fields, unlike what they've done the last 2 years, which is trade away their talent and stock up on draft picks.
Agreed. And C.J. Stroud, I admire it. He's saying what I believe is the correct thing about how this is going to go down and what should happen with the Bears and Justin Fields. They should invest around him and not invest over him if you're the Bears in another quarterback. I'll also say if I'm C.J. Stroud's agent, I'm probably telling him to not just start crossing teams off the list, especially when they have the number 1 overall pick. I would just stay away from it. If you want to say, well, I don't know that that's likely because my guy Justin Fields is there and he's their quarterback, that's fine. But I don't know that I'd be going making big statements about I don't want to go here or this. I don't want this team to draft me if I'm any prospect going into the NFL draft. That's just me thinking like an agent and what I would tell my client. All that being said, he's right. That's what the Bears should do. And it does look like that's what the Bears are going to do. Start actually building the offense around their quarterback, which they haven't done yet.
Speaking of Miami and Tua, Josina Anderson is now reporting the Dolphins, they're exploring all options at quarterback, including potentially moving on from Tua Tagovailoa. And we had Armando on yesterday, said they're going to pick up their 5th-year option on him, and they probably will, because it's affordable. It's like $25 million. And when you compare that number to other top quarterback payments across the league, you keep him around for a 5th year and you have him prove it again, and you can monitor the health status of all the concussion problems he's had in 2022. But maybe they're getting some feedback that it's not going to be great in South Beach for Tua and how things went down last year with the health concerns. It took him a month to clear concussion protocol the last time.
Well, and when Armando told us yesterday when you asked him the question about it, and he said, no, they're going to pick it up, that's what makes sense to me.
Yeah.
If you have the option, because you don't have any other options right now. Yeah. I mean, unless there's something going on we don't know about with a trade or, everybody talking about Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. That's an example. If there's something going on with that it just doesn't make much sense to me if you have the option. He's the best option that you have available to you that's easy to do right now with that 5th-year option. I don't think it goes past that, given the injury concerns now. But for this year, Tua is the best of what they have.
The Giants continue to negotiate with Daniel Jones, and out in Las Vegas, the Raiders have put the franchise tag on running back Josh Jacobs.